Yes, Jules, it was the news we have been waiting for. As you know, we've been here since early hours of this morning, just waiting for the expected departure of Rafa Benitez from Everton after his future was under discussion last night, after the board met, after they spoke to the owner, Farhad Moshiri. Well, the decision has been taken. As we expected, Rafa Benitez has left Everton. He's no longer Everton manager after 200 days in charge here. He has now gone. The club confirmed the news just a few moments ago. They've released a brief statement on the website. It simply says Benitez departs as Everton manager. They can confirm that he's left his position. He joined Everton in June 2021. He's left with immediate effect. An update on a permanent replacement will be made in due course. So let's not forget what's brought us to this point as well. We saw that banner again, didn't we, unfurled as Everton were beaten by Norwich yesterday in the Premier League. A really humbling and disappointing defeat. The fans have simply had enough. The banner unfurled calling for him to be sacked. We'd seen that before. We've heard fans bemoaning really what they're seeing in terms of performance. Results not good enough for Rafa Benitez after, it has to be said, a good start, because when he joined the club, of course, there was a lot of scepticism. Of course, the Everton fan base took some winning over given his history with their great rivals Liverpool. But at the start of the season, things were promising. They got some half-decent results, but in recent months, that's completely gone. They've only had one Premier League win since September. They've slipped down now to 15th in the Premier League table after that loss yesterday, just 6 points above the bottom three. So in many respects, that defeat against Norwich made his position untenable. He had a fit squad for that one. First team players were back for that game yesterday, so I think that was kind of the last chance for him to save himself with the team that he had been lacking, with the top players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin back in the side, but the performance not good enough, the result not good enough, and Everton this afternoon have confirmed the news, which we knew was coming, to be fair, that Rafa Benitez has now left his job as Everton manager.
Well, and the big question now, Ben, is where do they go from here? It's the sixth new manager they're going to need to appoint since Roberto Martinez left in 2016. What do they do next? That's exactly it. Well, in that statement, it said news on a permanent new manager would be updated in due course. Well, that's slightly different if you take you back a few months to when we heard from Manchester United. Remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left his job? Then it was very much they set out the plan in that statement about to bring in an interim manager before appointing a permanent manager. Well, by the sounds of the statement from Everton, they're looking for a permanent manager straight away. However, the caveat to all of that, of course, is that they do have potentially a ready-made caretaker in the midst here. Duncan Ferguson's done it before. When Marco Silva left, he took charge of the first team for 4 games. He revitalised the club. It was a similar kind of mood around the club at that point. Things were really not going very well on the pitch. There was huge disappointment. You remember Goodison Park had become fairly toxic with regards to the home manager, with regards to the team and the way they were playing. Well, Duncan Ferguson overnight completely lifted that gloom. He's such a cult hero around Everton. So you wouldn't be surprised if he was given the caretaker role, potentially even until the end of the season. Perhaps for him, he'd want a full kind of few months in the job, taking the team right through to the end of the season to be able to re-galvanise that team and to show his merits, I guess, in that job. And then beyond that, names that have been talked about already, obviously, Wayne Rooney's been linked straight away, given the relative success he's managing to have at Derby in extremely difficult circumstances there, keeping their fight for survival in the Championship alive despite everything, almost having one, maybe 2 hands tied behind his back in that particular role. So Wayne Rooney's name being mentioned. Frank Lampard out of work. He is always mentioned when a Premier League job comes around. And I know that here at Everton there is still a lot of admirers for Roberto Martinez, former manager that you mentioned there, left in 2016. He's someone who was in the frame when Benitez was given this job in the summer. Potentially, could they speak to Belgium about trying to get Roberto Martinez back either now or maybe in the summer? Obviously, that's got to be put up against whether Martinez and Belgium wants to stay in that position with the World Cup, of course, coming up at the end of the year. So lots to think about. That's all speculation at this stage, but certainly by the sounds of the statement, Everton, the Everton ownership, Farhad Moshiri, will be looking for a permanent manager.